AJ Lee vs Bayley confirmed. Bayley wins brutal gauntlet match. WWE Raw. WWE just pulled off the most disrespectful setup in women's wrestling history, and if you're not absolutely livid about how they treated Bayley after she just went through hell in a gauntlet match, you're not paying attention to what this really means. Bayley defeated 5 women back-to-back in one of the most grueling performances we've seen all year, proved she's still one of the toughest competitors in WWE, earned the right to celebrate her incredible achievement in WWE. Immediately had AJ Lee walk out and overshadow everything Bayley just accomplished. This dream match is now official, but the way it happened has ignited a war in the wrestling community that's about to get ugly. Drop a comment right now. Is this genius booking or a complete slap in the face to Bayley? Because there's no neutral position here. You're either Team Bayley or you think AJ Lee deserves this moment, and this comment section is about to become a battlefield. Let me take you through what actually went down on Raw because the details matter and they reveal exactly why people are so divided. The gauntlet match was announced as Bayley's opportunity to prove she's the most dominant woman on Raw. She drew the worst possible number entering first, meaning she'd have to survive all 5 opponents with 0 rest between matches. This wasn't just a challenge. This was WWE putting Bayley through a meat grinder on live television. First opponent, Chelsea Green. Don't let the comedy act fool you. Chelsea can wrestle, and she came at Bayley hard. They went 12 minutes before Bayley finally put her away with the rose plant. Bayley won, but she was already breathing heavy, already showing the first signs of fatigue. 1 down, 4 to go. Second opponent, Piper Niven. 300 pounds of Scottish power. Piper manhandled Bayley, threw her around like a ragdoll, hit a devastating Michinoku driver that had everyone thinking it was over. But Bayley dug deep, survived the onslaught, and caught Piper with a desperation sunset flip for the pin. Bayley's lip was busted. Her ribs were already taped from earlier attacks. She was hurting. Third opponent, Shayna Baszler. The most dangerous submission specialist in WWE. Shayna went straight for the injured ribs, working them over with knees, kicks, and brutal submission holds. The Kirifita clutch was locked in. Bayley was fading. The crowd thought it was over. But somehow Bayley powered to the ropes, forced the break, and hit a desperation Bayley to belly for the 3 count. 3 down, 2 remaining, and Bayley could barely stand. Fourth opponent, Damage Control's Kairi Sane. And this is where emotions ran high. These women were family. Former tag team partners. Sisters who conquered the division together. But Damage Control kicked Bayley out months ago, and this was personal. They wrestled for 18 minutes in what was absolutely the match of the night. Every strike had meaning. Every counter was layered with history. Kairi hit the insane elbow. Bayley kicked out. The crowd was on their feet. Bayley finally won with a roll-up counter, but she was broken. Tears streaming down her face, whether from pain, emotion, or exhaustion, nobody knew. Final opponent, Nia Jax. Fresh, angry, and ready to destroy what little was left of Bayley. This wasn't even a match, it was a mugging. Nia hit 2 annihilators within the first minute. Bayley kicked out on instinct alone. Nia was toying with her, laughing while she brutalized someone who'd already been through 45 minutes of hell. The crowd was begging for Bayley to find something, anything, to survive. And in a moment that will be replayed for years, Bayley reversed a 3rd annihilator attempt into a small package. The referee counted 1, 2, 3. The arena exploded. Bayley had done the impossible. She'd survived 5 opponents. She'd wrestled for nearly an hour straight. She was lying in the center of the ring, broken but victorious, tears flowing, the crowd chanting her name. This was her moment. This was the performance that would define her legacy. And then AJ Lee's music hit. The crowd reaction was split. Half erupted in excitement. AJ Lee is back, while the other half seemed confused about the timing. AJ walked out in wrestling gear, microphone in hand, with a look on her face that was equal parts respect and challenge. She stood at the top of the ramp, let the crowd reaction build, and then spoke the words that changed everything. Bayley, what you just did was incredible. You proved you're tough. You proved you're resilient. You proved you can survive anything WWE throws at you. But there's one woman you haven't proven you're better than. The woman who changed this division. The woman who held the Divas Championship for 295 days. The woman who paved the way for everything you've accomplished. You want to be the woman on Raw? You have to go through me. The challenge was official. AJ Lee versus Bayley. And Bayley, barely able to stand, using the ropes to hold herself up, body screaming in pain, grabbed a microphone and said 2 words that sent the wrestling world into chaos: "You're on." Now here's where the rage comes in, and you need to understand why this has people absolutely furious. Bayley just put on a legendary performance. She went through 5 women. She wrestled for nearly an hour. She showed heart, toughness, and resilience that would make anyone proud. This should have been her moment to shine. Her moment to celebrate. Her moment to stand tall and receive the recognition she earned. Instead, WWE immediately shifted focus to AJ Lee. The commentary team started talking about AJ's legacy. The replays shown during the commercial break were AJ's greatest moments, not Bayley's gauntlet match. Social media instantly became about AJ's return and challenge rather than Bayley's achievement. Bayley, the woman who just proved herself, got overshadowed in her own moment of triumph. That's not just bad booking, that's insulting. Let's talk about the optics of AJ challenging Bayley right after this gauntlet. If AJ truly believes she's better than Bayley, why not challenge her when Bayley is fresh? Why wait until Bayley just went through hell and is at her absolute weakest? It makes AJ look like an opportunist. It makes her look like she's taking advantage of someone who can't properly defend themselves. And if WWE is positioning AJ as a babyface returning hero, that's the opposite message they should be sending. Furthermore, and this is what is longtime women's wrestling fans absolutely seething, this perpetuates the idea that modern women's wrestlers still need validation from the previous generation. Bayley has done everything in WWE. Grand Slam champion, Royal Rumble winner, main event performer. She's proven herself 1,000 times over. The fact that WWE is presenting AJ Lee's approval as something Bayley still needs is backwards thinking that undermines everything the current women's roster has accomplished. But let me present the other side of this because the debate is real and both perspectives have merit. AJ Lee challenging Bayley specifically out of everyone on the Raw roster is actually a compliment. AJ could have called out anyone. She could have gone after the champion. She could have inserted herself into any storyline. She chose Bayley because Bayley represents the absolute best of modern women's wrestling. In AJ's eyes, if she's going to come back and prove she can still compete at the highest level, it has to be against the best. That's Bayley. The timing of the challenge right after the gauntlet also creates drama and stakes. How much did that gauntlet take out of Bayley? Will she be at 100% when they finally have this match? Does AJ have a psychological edge knowing she challenged a weakened opponent? These questions create intrigue and give the match a built-in narrative beyond just two great wrestlers facing off. Here's what this match represents, and this is why it's such a huge deal. AJ Lee versus Bayley is a generational clash. AJ represents the bridge between the Divas era and the women's evolution. She fought to make women's wrestling taken seriously when WWE barely cared. She cut promos that were must-see. She held championships and main event shows when women rarely got those opportunities. She laid the foundation. Bayley represents the realization of everything AJ fought for. Bayley came up in NXT when women's wrestling was respected as an art form. She had the legendary rivalry with Sasha Banks that proved women could steal the show. She's part of the 4 horsewomen who revolutionized the division. Bayley is the proof that AJ's work mattered, that the foundation she built could support something even greater. So this match is about more than just two competitors. It's about legacy. It's about evolution. It's about whether the current generation has truly surpassed what came before, or if they're just standing on the shoulders of giants without actually being better. That narrative, if WWE tells it properly, is compelling television. But here's the massive problem: WWE's track record with legend versus current star matches is awful. Goldberg squashing The Fiend. Goldberg squashing Kevin Owens. Undertaker's late career wins over younger talent that helped nobody. Brock Lesnar's part-time dominance over the full-time roster. Time and time again, WWE prioritizes nostalgia pops and making legends look strong over building the future of their company. If AJ Lee beats Bayley, it's a disaster. It tells the entire women's roster that no matter how hard you work, no matter how many years you dedicate, a legend can show up after years away and beat you. It devalues current championships, current accomplishments, and makes the roster look weak compared to the past. The short-term pop of AJ winning is not worth the long-term damage to the division's credibility. Bayley must win this match. Not just win, she needs to win clean and decisively. She needs to prove that while she respects AJ's legacy and everything AJ accomplished, the division has evolved. The women today are better trained, more athletic, more skilled than ever before. That doesn't diminish AJ's contributions, it honors them by showing that what she built has grown into something even greater. Here's what should happen in the build to this match. Bayley cuts a promo acknowledging AJ's importance to women's wrestling. She thanks AJ for paving the way, but she makes it crystal clear that the women of today have taken what AJ started and built something bigger. She respects the past, but she represents the future, and when they face off, Bayley is going to prove that the present is stronger than what came before. AJ should respond with respect but also confidence. She should say that she's proud of what Bayley and her generation have accomplished, but until she steps in the ring and feels it for herself, she won't truly know if they've surpassed her era. Make this about mutual respect mixed with competitive fire. Not bitter hatred. Not jealous veterans trying to hold young talent down. Just two great competitors wanting to prove who's better. The match itself needs to happen at a premium live event. Not Raw. Not SmackDown. This deserves WrestleMania, SummerSlam, or at minimum a show like Backlash. This match needs video packages. It needs build. It needs time to develop properly. Rushing it in 3 weeks would be criminal when you're sitting on one of the biggest potential women's matches in WWE history. When they finally have the match, it needs to be competitive. AJ needs to look strong, showing she can still go at the highest level even after time away. But Bayley needs to be better, faster, stronger, more experienced. The finish should be Bayley winning with the rose plant after a hard-fought battle where both women earned each other's respect. Post-match, AJ raises Bayley's hand, acknowledging that Bayley is the best, and the torch is officially passed. Here's the critical question that nobody's asking: is AJ Lee back for one match or for a full run? Because that changes everything about how this should be booked. If this is one and done, AJ's farewell match to test herself one last time, then Bayley winning decisively makes perfect sense. But if AJ is sticking around for months, challenging multiple women, maybe even going for championships, then WWE has to be more careful about protecting both women while building future programs. What I need from you: immediately comment and tell me who should win, AJ Lee versus Bayley. Explain why. Also tell me, did the way this match got set up disrespect Bayley's gauntlet performance, or was it perfect timing? And do you think WWE will make the right decision with the finish, or are they going to screw this up like they've screwed up so many legend matches before? Like this video if you believe Bayley must win clean to protect the division's future. Share it if you're worried WWE is going to prioritize nostalgia over building stars. Subscribe if you want me tracking every development in this feud and calling out WWE if they make the wrong booking decisions. Bayley just survived the impossible. AJ Lee just challenged her to the match of both their careers. And we're all watching to see if WWE has the courage to book this correctly, putting over the future instead of reliving the past. This could be the defining women's match of 2026, or it could be another example of WWE sacrificing their current roster to make legends feel relevant. The stage is set. The dream match is happening. Now we see if WWE learned anything from their past mistakes.